Um, Steam? No, stop. Oh, hello. This is new. Heyo all! Welcome back to another episode of Gambit. New name to be determined. So, just like in the last episode, I promised I wouldn't be working on any supports at all. And here we go, I have provided. So, today's episode is getting a lot of the infrastructure done for this whole area of the coaster, because this whole like station break and maintenance area is all manicured purposely so that it's all cut into this hillside. So I need to make sure there's a lot of concrete work, because being in kind of a mountainous hilly area, naturally there would be a lot of concrete to help reinforce the mountain, reinforce anything else you've got going on. So actually this video, there's a lot of cuts, as you can clearly see, duh. There's a lot of cuts because it's a lot of me kind of figuring out, okay, how the hell am I supposed to do this? You know, make this look realistic, because I am by no means an engineer, or am I an expert in the slightest. So I really don't have any experience in this. I'm not even looking at reference material. So I'm kind of just going at it the best that I would assume it would be done. So if you see something that would not be realistic, please comment below so I can make any corrections. And because I'd like to make this kind of foundational work as realistic as possible. Given that concrete is pretty strong nowadays, a lot of the vertical walls that you see should be fine. I only added that angled one in because of how the footings are beneath it. So here I'm realizing I need to add a lip around the top, because you'll see later on in the video, I'm going to go in and add a mulch material so that I can do some landscaping beneath it. Well, I may not do the landscaping. I may have someone else do the landscaping. Cough, 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 cough. So I don't know. We'll see what's going on. Oh, I should have watched this time lapse before doing my recording. Wow, I need to. I should have learned by. I should learn by now. Well, shoot. But yeah, a lot of this video is kind of me, building some stuff and then deleting it. So there's a lot that I cut out of the footage, because it's just I build something, then delete it, change it, and for the most part, I'm just trying to make this look sensible. Now, up there where I'm working at now, what you see right here, what's above it will be changing a little bit, because that's where my maintenance and my transfer track is going to go. And in the next episode, you'll see where I will start constructing the transfer table. And I don't know if I'm going to have the building and transfer table all in one building or separate videos. Now here, I noticed GCI does this sometimes, where they'll have if there's a hill going down and they do have footings, they may do like a stepping down of a concrete slab. Because most GCIs that are flat on no terrain, it's all one giant concrete slab with the footings protruding out. So something like this, where it's on a hillside, they would need to do some kind of stepping system of concrete foundations. I talk with my hands a lot, and you can't see me moving my hands. Oh well. Okay, here playing around with the terrain a little bit, because I wasn't really sure how to merge it with the hillside. So you'll see how it comes together in the end, because I will make sure to get some real-time footage of this area. So a lot of, because I English. So here I had to have two of the little lips there, because if I only had one and the footing or the concrete piece there, the advanced movement tool wasn't quite aligned properly. So I mirrored it so it would have a somewhat central axis of rotation. Is that right? I don't know. So right here, I'm just trying to get this bottom portion kind of encased in a concrete trough, kind of like what you would see with what's it called at Busch Gardens, Tampa? B&M sit down. Why is that roller coaster not coming to my attention? What's the name of that thing? No Krakens at SeaWorld. Oh gosh, what is it called? Oh man. The B&M sit down at Busch Gardens, Tampa. But anyway, let's direct our attention back to what's on screen. So you saw previously I went in and deleted the original concrete foundation for the station because I realized that I'm going to need to have a little bit better detail, especially with these couple of steel pillars. And I need to give them a very specific concrete foundation because it is so close to the track, as I mentioned in the previous episode. And which also, you know, there's no sense in me placing a bunch of pieces that I'm going to cover up anyway. So to help save on piece count and to help save my computer, I'll go in eventually and delete a bunch of stuff that you won't actually see, or if it's going to be covered in other materials. So here I am just trying to get a simple foundation started for these pillars because naturally these steel column supports would need to be connected to some kind of foundation beneath, whether it be a concrete pillar drilled into the bedrock or just dug 20 feet down or something. I don't really know how deep most building foundations go. I guess it depends on where it's at. So being on a mountainside, I'm pretty sure the bedrock would be close to the surface, so you don't need to have a foundation going too far down into the ground. Whereas if it's on kind of a plain area, most foundations are 20 or 30 feet deep sometimes. Now what's going to go in the bottom of the trough, you'll see here in a bit, is just plain concrete, no mulch or anything, because obviously as a landscaper, there is no need to put anything beneath that coaster track. Just concrete, plain old concrete. Hopefully you can't hear me moving around in my chair. So this is where the trough is going to end, and it'll step up to the actual kind of area where I'll get some mulch put in just a hot second after I finish this other step. Like, a lot of this is just kind of afterthought, so kind of building it as I go along. Just, you know, what looks the best and what would be easy maintenance wise. Okay, so here I'm putting in the concrete. I tried doing some terrain work with, you know, like some grass or something, but it wasn't really what I wanted. So concrete there. And then above it right here, I'm using the modular planter kind of piece, and I'm making it look like it's mulch or like dirt, just as a base. And then I'm going to probably either, I don't know if I'm going to do it or if I'll have someone else do it, but putting some kind of plants, some kind of vegetation here. I would assume it would need to be something that's not really landscape intensive or requires a lot of upkeep. So probably like some kind of evergreen bushes or something. Let's give this a recolor, because that's not a good color. There we go. So now we're going to work up here, get this mulch in place. Oh, maybe not. Okay, well, we're going to do this then. This works. And now there is a lot of stuff, like little minor changes that I made off camera. And because sometimes, like I said, I would stop the recording and then forget to turn it back on. And you'll see that a lot in the next episode, because holy crap, like, I did not know what I wanted to do in the next episode, and you'll see why when you see the footage. But granted, I haven't even looked at the footage, but I know what I recorded. I remember that very plainly. Okay, now over here on the other side of the brake run, I'm going to have a like a maintenance road going up and around towards the transfer section. So you'll see, it's hard to see because I didn't really showcase it, but I have some terrain already kind of going up at an angle for a maintenance road. Now right here is where the ADA like sort of access elevator is going to go. But for now I'm going to put mulch there just until I know what I want to do. Okay, here I'm going to get some kind of foundation started for the last rise up in terrain elevation, and this is kind of where the maintenance area is going to go. The transfer track, maintenance barn, and then need to figure out something here, so I figured, well, let's have some angled concrete going down to help it blend in with the terrain there. Now I end up changing this again here in a little bit to make that angled concrete go all the way down. And then finalizing this section here. Getting some concrete work in, and you know, just trying to make it look as feasible and realistic as possible. Like I said in the previous episode, a lot of the footers were not at their correct elevation until I got this foundational work in. So here I am trying to get the concrete in for the maintenance road that's going to be on the other side of it. This is the kind of stuff that I like doing to, you know, build stuff in the game that would be, I guess, realistic, maybe, in terms of foundations and how to build a building and support a building, and even though it's not really necessary in the game, it's more fun to me. So, words. Okay. Yeah, just playing with terrain, and I'm not sure what to do with all that mulch at the very bottom. I'm probably going to end up getting... I might get rid of a lot of it in the end. I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. So here, there's the terrain is kind of at an elevation there for our maintenance road. Now here, so this next bit of footage is a lot of this, actually, none of this right here that you're going to see will be in the final result. I end up deleting all of it, but I still wanted to put it in just to show you, okay, this is what I tried, and then I ended up changing tactics entirely once I started building the transfer track. Because I wasn't quite sure how GCI transfer tracks looked until I started looking at reference material. Here lately, my reference material is Gold Striker, Mystic Timbers, and for the terrain, Thunderhead at Dollywood. So, but in terms of the maintenance structures, I'm using the newer GCIs. But sadly, as good as this looks, I end up deleting all of it. This whole circle that I'm building, because it just doesn't work with the transfer track and the maintenance building, because the curved bit there, the curved bit of track goes under the ends up going under the maintenance building. So here in a second, like we're almost at the end of the time lapse. We've got about a minute left. So I delete like what I think I won't need, but in the end I end up deleting the whole thing. This whole curve. It's sad, but it's alright. So, yeah. Yeah. But you'll see why I delete it in the next video, because it makes a lot more sense. And so here in a second, we're going to go to a live kind of look at what's going on. Just after I finish a little bit more foundational work here in the corners, because I realized that corner was going to be in the way of the catwalk of the track. So, and then I end up changing it again because that doesn't look right. So, we fixed that. But yeah, so let's get ready to take a live look at what I've got going on now. Well, ignoring what I've got with the transfer building, so you'll see I'll try to hide all of that, but yeah, so let's switch over to the real-time footage. Alright, so here we are, a quick live look in the game. This is all after the pre-recording and whatnot that I did. This is just all done after the fact. To give you guys a live look. I'm trying not to turn the camera around because I don't want to spoil the next episode, but how close can I get? Yeah, it's about as close as I can get. I didn't really change much, so like I said, the last little bit of time-lapse footage, basically all that work gets removed. That whole kind of round curvature wall that I built all gets removed, and you'll see why, obviously, in the next video or two, as to why I had to do that. So basically this is all supposed to be like dirt mulch, and I'm going to fill all of it in with like flowers, maybe some kind of evergreen type material, because it doesn't need to be manicured quite as much. So yeah, obviously I might just put some plants in that won't need to be, you know, because it is a little bit challenging to get down here with the landscaping team. I'm sure that, like, I'm going to go back in at some point and add like a staircase here on this kind of on this embankment to get down to the bottom, as well as because you would also need access stairs to get like right here. Hopefully you can see my cursor, to get up here to the motor box, because GCIs usually have like a little shed down here for the motor, so I'll need to, you know, make sure I have the infrastructure built for that. This over here is all kind of don't know what's going to happen here, so that's why I just kept the mulch going into the terrain here. I ended up getting rid of all of this foundation because I'm going to go like I did right here and kind of do this bit. Oh, hey, music. I need to remember to turn the music off. So, yeah. And right here, concrete, because, you know, concrete, no need to have any mulch or dirt down here because you're not going to be able to get down there to manicure it and, you know, take good care of it. So, try not to show what's in the next episode. So, yeah. I went ahead and did all of this just because I said like 2 episodes ago or something that this whole area is like all manicured and built and cut into the cliffside. So like I did with the concrete here, all of this concrete, I'm going to eventually go back in and probably get rid of all of this steel work. Because if I'm just going to cover it up with concrete anyway, there's no sense in keeping all these extra pieces. So I'm going to go in and in another episode at some point go in and get rid of this concrete, or get rid of these steel pieces, and go back over it with concrete. The exception is the station. All of this steel work will be visible. The only time it'll be covered up is like down here next to the base, because it'll be more like stone, stacked stone, stacked bricks as a foundation. And I believe I might keep this steel right here. Oh wow, that music is loud. Okay. So that's what I got going on, and over here I have sort of set up all the pieces that I use, the wood pieces, and even this gravel that I found on the workshop, or like rubble, but I'm going to use it as kind of like gravel. Let me try not to show what's going on. Okay, but you see here I really struggled with the wood. I think I never did actually fix that. Okay, I may go back in and change these two back to the 4-meter beams here, because since I've fixed this, I can probably go back in and actually, no, I'm going to keep it the way it is. It's best to keep it like it is. So yeah, that's what I got going on, and you saw a little bit of that. This is kind of weird, but I had to keep it like this just because these footings are so close to these. This seems like a logical thing that GCI would do, or at least what I can think of, because it also supports this whole step and all that fun stuff. Oh, and I kind of practice in my spare time layering in the rails here. I am going to do this. I am going to go through and do this because this looks so much better than these rails, because GCI rails they're like a really dark gray. So yeah, okay, well, enough saying yeah. Make each day count, and I will see all of you guys in the next video. Bye bye. Okay, like I'm pretty sure they're not going to want to see me placing thousands of these along the fucking track, but man, it'll be so worth it when it's done. Like, seriously, it'll be so worth it.